United States and rejoined the Marines?
That's right.
And were you a reserve major's commission?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And then tell me how you went about forming Squadron 214.
Well, I've been in 2 or 3 squadrons there that were just prior to that, or during the process, that were not in action. I was more or less of a commanding officer, bookkeeper, taking care of things, and
administrative work.
Yeah, completely. And of course, I was getting toward the age there where they like administrators, you know, and but I didn't like it a bit.
Yes.
And so I knew that a couple of squadrons were supposed to come out in one of the small flat tops. That's the way they transported squadrons out in that area.
Yes.
And they were way overdue, and so I seized an opportunity to get a real nice colonel, and who was a good flyer, right, Sanderson's name.
Yes.
And of course I was helping him drink his scotch, and that aided.
That helped a little, yes.
The more I talked, the more he drank, and I drank, the clearer it became.
Yes.
I led him to believe that I had a squadron all ready to go and how to handle it. So you have to have a number. All squadrons are formed in the United States.
Yes.
And so I told him we just borrow one from some squadron that's not in combat.
And that's how you got 214.
That's how we got it.
Interesting.
In other words, it was a fast con job, to be honest about it.
Yes, yes. And what kind of pilots or men did you recruit for your squadron, Colonel?
Well, the only place I had to get pilots was what we called a pilot's pool. It was actually a reservoir of pilots that were sitting around doing little or nothing in a rear area base.
Yes.
And some of them had been actually kicked out of squadron. Some of them had never flown in squadron. I mean, period.
Yes.
And a few were standing around for disciplinary action. See, these young pilots, they didn't know anything about how the Marine Corps was run or the Navy or anything else. They were, most of them, one-year college boys.
Yes.
And about the only thing they knew how to do was fly, and they hadn't had enough time to really be too adept at that. All I can say is that they were damn willing.
Yes.
But yeah. I had enough experience previously, like in Flying Tigers, to know which ones to pick.
Yes, yes.
And this is a great asset because when squadrons are formed in the United States, you happen to be squadron commander, they tell you you've got so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Just give you a roster of pilots to fill that squadron.
Yes.
You don't know exactly what you're getting, and you have no choice as a squadron commander.
Yes.
This way, I had, even though I couldn't pick over the whole United States, I still had a choice. And so I say that's probably the main reason is that squadron turned out so well.
What characteristics in your pilots were you looking for, Colonel?
Well, actually, you don't get a chance to have them prove it before you, like they take a professional football player. Gee, you get to watch this guy.
That's right.
Have scouts and whatnot. No, you can't do that, but that's why the previous experiences I mentioned was so helpful. Now, I'll give you a couple little examples.
Please.
I ran over with pilots to the Flying Tigers, and then I watched them in operation after that. Now, this was an all-volunteer thing.
Yes.
Well, the people that were the most ferocious, you know, before combat, and loudmouth is a common term, when they get into the moment of truth, you know, like they say in the bull ring, they seem to lose all that and become very cautious mice.
Yes.
Now, the little quiet guy sitting over there that never says boo to anybody, I mean, this is not always true, but it's more often than not, he turns into a doggone tiger.
Isn't that something?
I mean, it is very odd, but I think it's, of course, I was not a qualified psychiatrist.
Yes, yes.
At the time, but I knew that much. And so that and a few other things, and of course, after the squadron got going, and you don't have the same pilots throughout the whole time, they're replaced, you know, and they are constantly in all squadrons over a period of time.
Yes, yes.
But I had my little tent there in the rear area, and I had a desk that was made out of crates.
Yes.
And I had papers all over it, which were meaningless.
Yeah.
And if they were important, I wasn't going to take care of them anyhow.
Yes.
And so these people would come in that wanted to get in the squadron, and I would pretend that I was working at my desk, and they would be standing there. I wouldn't look them right in the eye, because I was too smart for that.
Yes.
And then what I was trying to do is to learn as much about an applicant as I could in a very short period of time.
Yes, yes.
So, but mainly I would say things that would get them violently angry.
Yes.
So that they would blurt out certain things that I could pass my own judgment.
Yes, yes.
And a couple of them, they actually got so angry that, boy, they chose me, even though they were a lieutenant. And I was a major, to outside of the tent to fight.
They were fighting with you, yes.
And but I didn't give a darn if they fought with me. I just wanted to know if there was somebody that you could count on that would fight.
Colonel, where did you get the name the Black Sheep? Where did that come from?
Well, that came from the fact that we were the only squadron formed overseas. The squadrons that performed in the States and had a period of training and all this and that, they were issued a multitude of things.
Yes.
Including typewriters.
Yes.
And, of course, not that I wanted a typewriter. I've done a couple of books and a number of articles, you know, and I do them longhand and then type them out with 2 fingers.
Yes.
But I didn't need a typewriter of all things, but it's just an example of these young men were being away from home. You're getting lonesome at times.
Yes.
Thinking of your mother, your sweetheart, or somebody, and they got feeling a little sorry for themselves. And we're doing a better job of most squadrons. I wonder why we don't have this, that, and the other thing.
Yes.
And so then they first wanted to be called Boyington's Bastard. And then there was a, what do you call it, the war correspondent that was in the tent one night when they're all arguing like this, drinking out of their canteen cups. And he said, Jay, he says, can't you think of something better than that? He says, I can't turn in stories with names like that. See, times have changed.
Yes.
You got to think back a ways.
Sure.
When you couldn't even say damn on a radio program.
That's right.
And so then I got thinking, well, some guy came up with, well, that's we call Black Sheep. Same thing, you know.
Yes.
And they thought, well, we'll have an emblem that'll be a medieval shield with a bar sinister, which means bastard son, and that got them all delighted. And they found a moth-eaten sheep picture in one of the old magazines. That was duly copied, and that's the way it all came.